Most people think the more money they make, the more they'll be able to solve their financial problems. And that's simply not true. In reality, having more money actually makes your financial problems worse. And here's exactly why. It's because your behavior does not scale your income like most people think. What actually happens is your income scales your behavior. And I'm going to explain this. Most people think the more money they make, that financial literacy will just drop on their doorstep. Making money and managing and growing money are two different things, right? Making money is one skill. Growing and managing the money is a totally different skill. So the more money you make, that's not a bad thing. We're not saying don't make more money. But what we're saying is you cannot afford to believe that making more money is automatically going to bring more financial intelligence. It doesn't work that way. What actually happens is your income scales your behavior. So the more money you make, it just makes the behavior you already have with money scaled. It just makes it amplified. It just makes it bigger. It makes it worse. So if you're currently in debt, what do you think is going to happen when you apply those same money skills that have gotten you in debt and you apply it to a higher income? It's going to be more debt because you have behavior that leads you into debt. And I'm not saying debt is bad. There's good debt and there's bad debt. Good debt is debt that other people pay off on your behalf. Bad debt is debt that you have to pay off yourself. Those are normally personal loans and personal consumer debt. So let's just say you're in a lot of personal consumer debt for the sake of this explanation, because that is considered bad debt. When you have more money, that's only going to amplify the habits that got you to have bad consumer debt in the first place. It doesn't automatically make your debt good or give you the ability to have good debt or give you the knowledge to even know what good debt is. So it's all about understanding that your income is going to scale your behavior. And if you know that the more money you make, it's just going to make whatever you already do amplified, then you need to fix what you're doing and working from a perspective where your income is actually, because you're understanding your income is going to scale your behavior. Most people think your behavior is going to scale your income. They think, I have to focus on making more money because the more money I make, the more money I'll have and everything will be fine. Not true, because all the habits that got you to where you are going to keep you where you are at a different level, right? So the more money you make, it'll just keep you at the same amount of debt, same habits of debt at a higher level. And if you want that to be the case, that's fine, right? Technically, if you have more debt, then you had more money to get you in debt, which means you had more money overall. That's fine. A lot of people live that type of life, by the way. A lot of people live a life where they make multiple six figures and they're actually really in a lot of debt. But because they're in debt in a higher level, they still have very comfortable lives. They still are able to vacation, do what they want to do, spend money how they want to, and they don't really need to feel all the mistakes because they're in a lot of debt, but they also do have a lot of money. So they don't have to necessarily figure it out and they don't have to think about it, right? It's not like they're penny pinching, right? They'll be fine. So that's actually the middle ground a lot of people live in, if you didn't know. High six figures and also millionaires live in that cycle. But if you want to be a person that actually has good habits and let the good habits bring you more money, that's the slower option. And that's why most people don't do it. Because if I'm telling you the more money you make, the more that current habits you have are going to be amplified, then that tells you point blank, I need to have good habits. And that means it doesn't matter how much money I make, I'm always going to have the good habits along with me. I'm not depending on the money to bring the good habits. I'm gonna get the good habits and let the money follow my good habits. And that's how you can stay consistently good with money, with financial IQ, financial intelligence, and financial literacy. Write those three down. That's what you need to constantly be improving. And all three of those have their own levels of what they contain and what they mean. But if you never understand that more money is not going to solve your problem, then you never actually will be able to get better with money at all because you don't understand money. The second thing is the hidden spending personality. There are multiple types of spenders. There's emotional spenders, there's avoidant savers, and there's reactive decision makers. So the person who's an emotional spender, every time they have an emotional spike of something that's gone wrong in their life, something that's really happy in their life, or something that's just not neutral, they want to spend money. So they make a lot of money, they're happy, so they want to spend a lot of money. They lose a lot of money, so they want to save a lot of money, or they want to save a lot of money and then go spend it all. Then there's a person who's an avoidant saver, who is like, I don't want to save because I don't need to, and because everything will be fine, and I don't want to, and I don't need to, and they never have money or opportunity capital to go invest if they need to or want to. And so because they already know they don't have any money, then they don't ever educate themselves to learn more about money, because they don't ever plan on acting on anything that they learn anyways. That's why they don't save. Then there's also reactive decision makers. Every time they see something, they're like, I gotta jump on it, I gotta do it now. So there's a lot of different spending personalities, and money does not change whichever one you are. Let me repeat that. Money does not change whichever one you are. So if you're an emotional spender, as soon as you make a lot of money or you have a really good day, your first thought is, I gotta go to TJ Maxx and go spend some money. I gotta go to Louis Vuitton and get a new bag. I have to go and buy a new pair of shoes. I have to go and buy new clothes. I need to go. I was like this too. When I started making a lot of money, I would say, I need to go shopping. Like, what am I supposed to do with this money? I gotta go shopping. Can you imagine a person at a young age making a lot of money and they don't really know anything about investments? They don't have a lot of financial IQ, a lot of financial literacy, or a lot of financial intelligence, and all they know how to do is go shop. That's a very real reality. And then when you learn the financial intelligence portion, that reality changes into someone who's good with money, right? And then more money follows that. The problem is that money can follow bad habits, but it's just going to amplify them. And like I said, a lot of people live in that middle ground. They make a lot of money, but they actually lose a lot of money, or they don't have a lot of good financial intelligence, or they basically live a decent enough life to not have to ever try to fix it. And you don't want to be any of those type of people. So money is not going to fix whatever spending personality you have, if it is a hidden spending personality type. The third thing is that people stay stuck because they try to fix their income first and not their behavior first. If you try to fix your income first, that's good. We're not saying don't make money. You need to do that. You need to increase your income and reduce your expenses to become more financially stable. However, if you do not fix your behavior, it's only so long that your income will hold you up among that or against that. And then the people that just don't want to fix it, they realize that. They're like, yeah, if I did different habits or different behaviors, I'd probably be better off. But because by the time they get to that point, their life is so comfortable, they're like, I'm not, is it really worth my time to go back and try to fix the habits? And then they just stay at their same financial state for a very long time. And they don't ever move forward or learn more about financial literacy or learn more about financial intelligence. It's just how it is. So that's literally why people stay stuck. Like, it's not a joke. It's literally how a lot of people live their lives. So you have to understand, fix the behavior first. The money will follow anyways. But the problem is, it's the slower part. It's literally the slower option. Take a lot of time to learn the right things, and then after years, the money will follow and stay. Or you can focus on the income first and then have a lifelong of bad money habits, but you make enough to not have to worry about it. Which one do you want? Right? But you have to ask yourself, what if that income disappears for some reason? Now you're left with no money and no ability to earn money and no money habits. So you can't even mask the bad money habits. Now the bad money habits are literally there. Have you ever seen the one that makes a lot of money, maybe doing entertainment, and they lose all their money and they never learned the behaviors first? So now they can't get the money back because they were making a lot of income from that entertainment. Maybe they got off the show, or maybe they stopped that sport, or they stopped whatever was generating their income. And now they don't have any way to replenish that money. Now all is exposed is their bad habits. Like that happens all the time. So don't be the person that lets their income outshine what their behavior should be. We're not saying don't make money, but realize that your income is not as important as your behaviors. And lastly, your structure before your income is so important. You have to put things on automatic, have fixed percentages, and remove emotional decisions. And these are just three structures because income is not the solution. Behavior is. Okay? Fixing the behavior is actually where everything manifests from. And I made a TikTok maybe a year ago, a very viral TikTok. It actually made me money because I was selling a digital product along with it, and a lot of people joined it at that time. And it was the video that basically said, wealth is not money. Wealth is the system. It's about the behavior and the systematic behaviors that you do for wealth that are the actual wealth, because that's what keeps it. That's what makes it never go away. But if you think money is the wealth, money can go away at any point. Like whatever you're doing to earn money can literally disappear. The company you make money with can literally go under overnight. The thing you're doing for money can literally dissipate into thin air. But if you have good money habits, those things literally don't touch you. Like they don't matter. So that's the one thing, is that behavior is so much more deeply important. So incredibly important than income. Income is great, but it was never, ever supposed to be the solution for any financial problem.